Being a therapist helped me stay visible. I wasn't always a coach. The past 7 years, I've been sitting with women, holding their pain, walking them through their healing as a mental health therapist. And today, I want to share something a little vulnerable about why I transitioned to coaching and what got me here. If you're someone who's always there for others and rarely asks for support, this may be for you. Through my own journey, I realized I built something that was safe for me. So ongoing, I genuinely wanted to be a therapist to help people navigate this thing called life, right? That's what we tell ourselves. We want to support others. We want to be there for them. We want to show them how we can navigate life in different ways. But here's what I didn't realize at first. The bricks we carry aren't always easy to identify or name, especially if we're the one always in the helping seat. I built a solo practice and I told myself it was about flexibility, it was about having my own business, it was about serving others and my clients the way I wanted to without having to worry about clocking in, clocking out, without worrying about when I get to take my lunch breaks, how many clients I have to see a week. Because the professional environments I've been in before weren't really safe for me. So I've had to emotionally and physically kind of disconnect. And so I've had supervisors, one that hit me, one that used to just come walk and stand by my cubicle and just stay there and stare at me until I say something. So really abusive, uncomfortable environments. And so I built my private practice as a way for safety. Of course, I didn't know it at the time. I thought I was building something for freedom, right? For flexibility. And not that that wasn't the case. It was just more to it. And so it made it easier for me to hide. It made it easier for me to shrink. And as a therapist, we're trained to be invisible in a sense, right? Don't speak up. Don't share your life. Don't kind of shrink, right? Be the container. Don't say too much. Don't do too much. Don't share too much. Allow them, the clients, to share, to be who they need to be. So in a sense, we are modeling the exact opposite of what we want for our clients. In a sense, we want them to be seen. We want them to be heard. We want them to show up. And as a therapist, we are taught to do the exact opposite. But that felt comfortable for me. Most of my life, I was the quiet one. I was the one that shrunk in certain scenarios to make other people comfortable. I was the one that did whatever you needed, regardless of the cost to me. And so these were patterns that I was comfortable with, right? So it wasn't like a red flag when we were taught these things. But the self-doubt I experienced, my clients were experiencing too. The guilt of, right, putting other people first, or rather putting themselves first, I had experience, right? So these are the things that I worked through, and I realized that yes, I built my private practice for flexibility. I also built it for safety, for protection, because my negative belief, one of them, was people aren't safe. And based on my experiences, that had been true for me. But I had to realize, in today, are people still unsafe, right? Does that negative belief still aligns with my life and who I am today? And so even this video is completely out of my comfort zone. So imagine how loud that part of me is that is saying, you're not good enough for this moment. They're not going to want to hear what you have to say, right? Those parts of me are still there. The only difference is I hear them, I acknowledge them, and I allow them to be. I honor them for showing up because they are a protection method, reminding us, me, of past behaviors, right? And so when you're walking outside and you hear rustling, you may think it's a snake. Do you want your body to warn you that it's a possibility that it's a snake? Or do you want your body to do nothing so you keep walking and possibly get bit by the snake? That's how I look at my negative beliefs. That's how I look at the parts of me that show up as a reminder, as a warning. Hey, you sure you want to do that? Because remember when we did it before, this is what happened. These are the things those people said or did. And so today, instead of a cost to me, right? Shrinking is a cost to me and my self-esteem. Being invisible is a cost to me and my self-esteem and my health, right? Instead of costs, I actually get a deposit. So transitioning into coaching allows me to deposit into me, right? So instead of paying the cost of being silent and shrinking and standing behind the screen or sitting in my therapist chair, therapizing folks, as a coach, I get to show up as me authentically, whatever that may look like, right? So this is the difference in the coaching and why I transitioned. There's a deposit to my self-esteem. There's a deposit to my bank account because now I am going after opportunities that align with me and who I am today. The part of me that wants to be free. The part of me that wants to be seen. The part of me that wants to do things differently than I was taught, than I grew up learning, right? That part of me that wants to show up authentic, I get to do that. And I get paid to do it, right? As a coach, when I'm doing speaking engagements, just sitting here with you today is allowing a part of me to really rejoice and honor that part of me that built that private practice for safety. Because had she not built that private practice, I wouldn't be here today because I would still need it. I would still be seeking safety. But we created safety for ourselves. And this is what I teach my clients. You can create what you're looking for. If you're looking to be seen, you can be seen. If you're looking to be heard, you can hear yourself first. If you need somebody to take you out on a date, you can do that first. If you need to make more money, you can do that first by going after the ask, right? No matter what. Because regardless of we're doing or not, we're still paying a cost. So that's the difference between being a therapist and being a coach who is also a therapist. I'm not just clinically trained. I've lived it, I've processed it, and I'm out on the other side. Now this other side is still, again, rough at times, right? Sometimes my whole system shuts down depending on how far out of my comfort zone I'm in. And it's also exciting. And it's also necessary for where I am. So I started She Embodies Freedom because I needed it. It was a way for me to face the things that I was running from once I realized I was running from. It was a way for me to release the weight. We always think if we're changing and we're building something new, then we must be adding to our plate. Not here. We have so much on our plate as women of color, that the next necessary step is to remove things from the plate. No longer holding on to things that don't serve us, right? So every time I post on media, a part of me still wants to delete it, right? Every time I share something vulnerable like this video, a part of me cringes. That perfectionist part, I don't even want to tell you how many times I edited this thing I was going to say, right? Because of that perfectionist part. But the difference is we're doing it anyway. And so if this resonated with you, follow along. Next week, I'm going to share how those negative beliefs we wear like badges of honor, but we don't even realize it. And those are the things that keep us holding on to the stuff we're holding on. Being the caretaker, being the responsible one, being the one to make sure everybody is happy, even at the cost of you. It's because that there's a belief behind that that's driving that behavior. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of my beliefs that drove my behaviors for a decade until I got clear on them, until I got a therapist, until I got a coach to support me through my process. And so if this sounds interesting to you, subscribe so you don't miss it. And also, I'm here as your coach, also a licensed mental health therapist, taking you on the journey that I went on to remove the need to sacrifice yourself to make others happy.